Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic with Zuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show, the show's all about a little well-known card game called Magic the Gathering. So on today's episode, we brought on none other than Jana Amari, who is a cosplayer and Twitch streamer, and we talked a lot about cosplay, her Twitch streaming career, and a little bit more stuff from there. So before we get into the interview, let's get some announcements out of the way. If you want to help support the show, you can help support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/magicwithzuby. And you can find me on Twitter at magicwithzuby, on Instagram at magic_with_zuby, and on TikTok at mtgzuby. And you can email me with any questions you may have at mtgzuby@gmail.com. And you can find the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify, and YouTube, and any other areas where you get your podcasts. And we're also sponsored by cardsphere.com, the best place to buy, sell, and trade your Magic singles and sealed product. And I don't think I have really anything else to announce. So as of this recording here, we're recording on May 15th, and I know this will be out later in the first week of June, but we did miss the 5-year anniversary of Magic with Zuby here, so I am working on trying to plan a stream in June, probably sometime in June, to do something. What it is exactly, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. So hopefully to see you there, because the 5-year anniversary was back in February, but, you know, my house flood and life just getting all crazy, and so we'll go from there. So anyways, without further ado, help me welcome Jana Amari to the show. So, hey everybody, it's Zuby here, and I've got with me Jana Amari from Twitch and Twitter and cosplay extraordinaire and streamer. Thank you for coming on. How are you doing this evening?
No worries. Thank you for having me so much, Zuby. I'm doing great. Just enjoying the summer weather.
Oh, is it actually getting to be like summer weather where you're at?
Yeah, so I'm from Vancouver, so usually 8 to 9 months out of the year it's always raining, so it's nice to see the sun and enjoy it. Everyone seems to be getting vaccinated, so it's
Oh,
just
that's good.
yeah, it's nice to go outside and enjoy the sun without having to worry as much as before last year for sure. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been great.
Awesome. Are you going to be planning on traveling anytime soon now that things are slowly getting back to normal?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I'm from Canada, so the restrictions are a little bit tighter
Oh,
compared
yeah,
to the
that's true.
States, but
Yeah.
it seems like, things are looking up. Like everyone will be pretty much qualified to get the vaccine next month. So I keep saying, on my streams, like once we're allowed to go, I'm just gonna do it. I feel like that's one thing that I kind of like took for granted
Yeah.
before COVID, and now I'm just so itching to travel to whatever magic convention there is, like no matter what it is. So hopefully that can happen soon. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Awesome. So I looked at your Instagram, and you've been a cosplayer for a long time now, a while. And what sort of got you into all that? Because a lot of your cosplays, I mean, a lot of them that I saw on your Instagram were non-magic, but they were like really good too.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I started my content creation journey through cosplay. I've always really liked video games growing up. I thought it was cool. Actually, what's really funny is that when I was young, I didn't even know what cosplay was, but we're always trying to dress up like as our favorite nerd character, but I didn't even know what it was. Like I was always crafty making stuff. So when cosplay got really, really popular, and I would say 2012, 2013, with things
Yeah.
like Reddit, I just saw somebody, they had this like amazing World of Warcraft armor, and I'm just like, oh my God, that looks so cool. And then I'm just like, oh, how did they make that? And then I just researched it, and then I was hooked ever since. I was like, yeah, I think maybe I can make something like that. So that's how I started.
No,
Just
that's
uh,
awesome.
just tried.
I mean, cosplay as a whole has just evolved like crazy. Because I can remember going back to cons back in 2008, 2009, and people would still dress up back then, but nothing like you see nowadays. It's like so many people would just have to I mean, there's still a lot of people like yourself that have to craft everything they do,
Right.
but now I see it's as easy as going on some website and just ordering the costume you want and being able to cosplay that way. And I'm not downplaying people who do that,
Yeah.
but like 10 years ago, that wasn't possible at all.
No,
It's
I
insane.
mean, I think it's great. You know, people always ask me like, "Oh, how do you get started?" And I'm just like, "Oh, you could just order whatever character you want now." And it's great too because it's just like, oh, I think cosplayers, if you don't know the hobby, a lot of cosplayers sort of work last minute, and it's just like
Oh yeah.
always like the meme where it's just like, oh, you think you're ready, but then you're like crafting something at the hotel like 5 minutes before the convention starts. So it's great to sometimes, you know, if you don't have much time, just order something and you still look great in photos, and it takes a lot less stress. And yeah, like even I would say, yeah, even 5 years ago that wasn't so much of an option, but now it's just so like quality, and it won't
Oh
like
my
fall apart at
gosh.
the convention.
It's
So I think
insane.
it's awesome that there's a way where like you can craft but also like have these awesome cosplays where you could just buy. So I think it's a really good time right now
Oh, the
for it.
dedication too. Like I had a Zabricus on late last year, and I can't remember what cosplay it was, but she told me she was getting ready to go to convention, and literally her makeup and everything took 3 hours to get ready. I'm like, holy crap, I couldn't do that. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I always like compare cosplay to like going to a wedding for cosplayers, that it's just like,
mm,
oh, like you've prepared for it like for a year and I just like, oh, you put so much passion into it, and just
oh
like,
yeah,
oh, to the last details, you know, you're even like documenting the the progress of like you even getting ready at the hotel. So like I always feel like it's a wedding because, you know,
that's a good
when
way to
you
look
step
at
out
it.
at a convention and like everyone's excited about your character, it's the same feeling of like being like, oh, this is so awesome. So
I don't know. I like that thought. I never thought of it like that. It's the
there's so much planning, you know.
oh my
Like,
gosh, yeah. Like I remember I think one of the first cosplayers I had on the show, this was years ago, Air Bubbles, Ariel.
mm,
And just the thing that always boggles my mind, right? And I think I've asked this to every single cosplayer I've had on the show, is when you look at a character, right? Like just using your Professor Onyx one you just did, right?
right.
Liliana. You look at it and just see like the dress and, you know, all the little accessories and all that stuff, you know, it blows my mind. Like, how do you figure out like how to make that stuff, or like where to find the material, or things like that, you know, like there, because you look at the art of it and you're just like, yeah, you gotta, if you want it to be good, you gotta make everything on that art right there.
Right. Yeah. So I find that maybe, you know, a lot of your listeners play Magic, so I want to try to make a lot of Magic references. If you're competitive in Magic, it's just like, oh, the first time you're competitive in Magic, you feel like so overwhelmed. But then over time, it's just like, oh, you know, you get asked by a new person, like, oh, how do you play like this really complicated deck? Like, how would you know that and stuff like that? And I always say it's just you know, leveling up over time without even knowing it. It's just like you work on different projects and then you learn, and then eventually, like Magic, you don't even know how to play. Like you get handed a deck, but it's just like you've played a different sort of different deck in the past, that it's easier to pilot like a
Mm-hmm.
new deck. So that's how I look at cosplay. Like for Professor Onyx, that jacket neck thing that she had, I've never made something like that, but I've used a lot of different techniques in the past to like kind of piece things together. But I failed a lot. Like I don't think I've shared this, but that neck piece thing took me like 5 tries to do.
Oh really? What was
Because
complicated
it
about
just
it?
wasn't shaped right. I mean, it was, I mean, first of all, like just the shape of it is just like, if you think about it, I don't know why character designers always do this, but it's just like something that wouldn't really occur in real life. Like if Professor Onyx is real, she probably wouldn't really be able to like raise her hands all the way. So
Oh
like
yeah, I
things like,
guess, yeah, because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
blocking
like
your
look
arms
at
right
like
here.
blocks, and then also like the way in the art the neck piece is just, it's as if it's like glued to her neck. Like fabric
Yeah.
doesn't really work that way. So it's just like, oh, messing up and being like, oh, trying to do it so accurate, but then like you have to incorporate physics of reality, and it's just like, oh, like really getting it to the way I want it to be shaped. It's just like small things like that where it's just like, oh man, I wish character designers like were like clothing designers because then they would understand.
Like more
So,
realistic.
yeah. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of how it is in cosplay. It's just like leveling up and then
It's a good
making
way
a
of
lot of
putting it.
mistakes, just like playing Magic.
Oh yeah, speaking of Magic, by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be sometime in June. But I did want to bring up some of your thoughts on this whole pro play thing because it's like the announcement was what, Thursday, I think it was, or
Yeah, I think yeah, so it was on Thursday. Okay, so I'm a little bit different because I entered Magic. I've only been playing Magic for 2 years, and I actually only started playing Magic through Arena. Ever since then, I've been streaming it. I've been involved. I've participated in a lot of online tournaments and got some results. And a lot of my friends are professional and things like that. But in my opinion, I mean, people could beg to differ, but I think WotC delivered the announcement really well, like comparatively to before. I think like making an announcement and then um like an article and then a stream over top was just something over up and beyond what they needed to do. Like saying that
yeah.
the pro league was going to be over kind of affected only the people that were in the pro league. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt that like they had already told them the information a night before, so it was like a heads up. It's not like they were surprised with the announcement or they were hearing it for the first time as everybody.
Yeah, and it's not like they were let go the next day too, because they still
Yes,
have to finish out their contract and all that.
exactly. So I've been watching other pros like Martin Yuza, and even he said that was a really nice thing to do. So I think that compared to before, I was really surprised how they communicated so well. I think that there's a lot of unclarity and a lot of people upset, even me, because like they had not given plans to like, oh well, what happens next kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
after, kind of sitting back on it for a couple days and then just like looking at the reality of things, well, it's hard to make plans when we're still kind of in the middle of the pandemic. So like we
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen in 2023. So it's just like if they had made all this plans for it just to like not occur, I think people would be really upset because it's just like people they've had a history in the past of like, taking things back kind of thing. So I kind of appreciated it. I'm a optimistic person. I think that eventually they'll have a plan for it. I don't even know if they know what the plan is, but I don't think like a competitive Magic will really like die. I think
Oh
that they just
no.
made it really clear that it's just like, oh, it's just not sustainable to like pay the pros or like have people live off this profession
It never was to begin with.
professionally.
I mean,
Exactly. And one thing that I even talked about on my stream is that like I find that sometimes Magic players they don't play other video games or like involved in other esports or professional scenes, and this stuff is just so common in other
you know,
esports scenes, like even really big ones like League of Legends. Like the pros get paid mostly off sponsorships or like their organization and streaming and things like that. So and there's rarely any games like I think Overwatch was a game that they had salaried their players, but like look where it is now. Like no one really talks about it anymore, and it's just not as hype, and they've
yep.
had their own issues. So I think that it's not unique to just Magic for having such a failed or quote unquote failed system. It's just really hard to make an esport successful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's just it's the reality of a card game too, right? Because let's be honest, it's you and I we're entrenched in Magic, but to the
yes.
common person, they're not going to have any idea what's going on, and it's really not that exciting to watch. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's a lot harder to even watch too if you're not like really entrenched, like you said, in the professional or like competitive scene. So, which is funny because I saw people, they were saying like, oh, they could have done this and did that, but it's just like when it was really, really hard to miss for me. Like, they were advertising it a lot in the clients, like making a lot of
mm,
articles and stuff like that, even YouTube videos. Like, I remember when MTG Worlds, like before COVID happened, they had like these YouTube videos of like the professional players playing and like had little interviews and stuff like that, and they did this whole press thing in Hawaii, and they had like
yeah, I remember.
vlogs
I
and
remember
stuff
that.
too.
Yeah,
And then in the clients, like the world's players could have, you could play like their decks and like have their icons in arena and stuff like that, and still it's just like, oh, they did a lot at the end of the day. Like
they tried.
it
Yeah,
was, yeah, it was like people still didn't
and
watch.
still people didn't care. I mean,
So, um, it's really hard. I mean, like, I don't want to minimize, it really does suck for the pros because they've been playing a lot, and I want to be respectful. Someone that's just been in the scene for only a couple of years, like, but at the same time, I feel like this is me also, thoughts of a person just coming in new to MTG and just seeing it from the outside, like being like, oh, like it was kind of destined to fail, but like it was already kind of like, oh, failing in a sense if you want to live off of just magic
yeah,
earnings.
yeah,
So to me, it was just not really a surprise.
yeah.
So and to like it's hard for me to also talk really poorly about Watsi because I have a really good relationship with them.
Yeah.
Not even in the sense that like, oh, being sponsored and stuff like that. Like I don't want to say that. It's just like, oh, the only reason why I'm not talking
No, no, I,
negatively
I,
is
I know what
because
you
of
mean.
it. It's more of like, oh, even before I was being sponsored, like I just looked at the game like, I'm like, oh, this is so fun and stuff like that, and I didn't really have like anger towards the company. Like I like the Secret Lair products, even though I don't personally like buy them. So I don't have this kind of like negative outlook of WotC in the first place.
No,
So
I
it's
know what you
really hard
mean.
for me to comment negatively or like see things that aren't positive. So
No, I know what you mean. And like, WotC is just like every other company. They're not perfect.
yeah,
They,
exactly.
they make mistakes, and it's as far as the whole pro play goes. I think it needed to happen. And the thing that I feel like people don't understand is competitive play itself is not going anywhere. Right? It's still happening. We're gonna eventually get Magic Fest and GPs back, and whatever version of what are they called now? Set championships or mythic tours? I don't know.
Yeah, or
Whatever they're called.
whatever it is.
Whatever they're
Yeah.
called. We're still going to have worlds, but it's just you're not going to be able to attain that pro status before the MPL it was you can become like bronze, silver, gold, pro or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
the pro,
Yeah.
yeah, the old pro structure. I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people are also frustrated that like WotC had changed a lot of things, and I think that's
Yeah.
pretty frustrating as well. Like not just having a solid plan. So hopefully in the future, I mean, like they have more of a solid plan. But I'm kind of excited, like to see what they have. And I think that to me, I commend them for putting an axe on it instead of doubling down and being like, no, we could really make this MPL thing work. Like
Yeah.
they were just like, no, it's not working. Like, sorry. So I think that to me that's really commendable because like I've seen other esports games just kind of, have these sunken costs of trying to keep something alive that's not working. So I think that for WotC to do that was really a good thing. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
they basically admitted it failed and they're going to do something new. And, it's I don't know. I'm of the school of thought where there's still going to be competitive play. There's still going to be competitive players. They're just not going to have a pro structure. And if it ever gets to a point where there's quote unquote pros and Magic, it's going to be like most other probably esports where they'll have sponsorships to be able to help them pay for that lifestyle and all that. And
Yeah, and I think to add a different note, I think a lot of the mixed reactions was because pro means differently to a lot of different people. Like, for example, pro magic to someone is like, oh, I am living professionally off my earnings and stuff. Whereas, like, oh, for some people, it's just like a pro magic player, someone that's really, really good at magic, and it doesn't matter if they make a living off of it. So I think that obviously people who
Yeah.
were using professional, or sorry, or tournament winnings and living off as that kind of professional magic player, like it does really suck, and I don't know what I should say for it to not suck. But I think that people who saw being a pro magic player as just being really good, like have something really positive to look forward to. Um, the one I believe what a pro magic player is the second one. So to me, the announcement wasn't really that bad, but I can see someone like
Yeah.
that really really wanted to aspire to live off of magic that way, really upset about that it's just not going to happen anymore. And I think that they made that really clear that they were no longer going to sustain these kinds of lifestyles. So I can see why the other side of that verbiage can be really upset.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think in the end, it's gonna be better for Magic. It's gonna. I don't know. I'm just not that worried about it. This is coming from someone who used to play, try to get into the competitive scene and all that like years
Mm-hmm.
ago, and um, it's. I feel like it's gonna be just fine. Like
Yeah,
there's still gonna be your spiky grinders that want to try to win out prize money and stuff like that, and they're not going anywhere.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, like to me, my goals for Magic is a little bit different. Like I am really focused on streaming it. One of the things that I was a little bit worried about is that if there's no MPL or like this sort of like pro scene, if it's going to affect Twitch viewership, that's sort of where most of my concerns are. And we'll see. I really hope it doesn't. I mean, to me, obviously it's not going to happen overnight. So if we see any changes, it'll be over the year or so. And like they've already said that there wasn't going to really be anything for a whole year. I really hope that people stick around to watch it. And if not, then maybe, it's like for me to try to see if I could stream another game. So
Yeah.
yeah, to me, it's more the my sort of stake in it is that I just hope it just does not affect Twitch viewership. So
I mean, well, if Arena doesn't work out, there's always Commander too.
yeah, although the one thing is that it's really hard on Twitch because Twitch is
Yeah.
very very hyper focused on competitive. So
Oh, I know. I know.
across all other games, not just Twitch, so the viewership is a little bit lower for casual formats, unfortunately. So I hope that it doesn't. I find myself a very competitive player. Like I always say on my streams, it's more focused on competitive things like that. So I hope that my sort of niche doesn't isn't affected. But
I
yeah,
don't.
I mean, there's always other games
Yeah.
and other things to do.
Yeah.
Like I could just focus on cosplaying for uh,
Yeah.
like on the other hand, there's other ways I can create content.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So
And you being in the Magic content creator, especially streaming, you've sort of had a really good rise in the past couple years. And one of the things that I remember, I can't remember when you exactly said it, but it really sort of spoke to me, was you talked about how you have a full-time job and then plus you do this as well. And it just really, I don't want to say surprised me, but more just gave me a lot of respect for you because admittedly, it's not easy because I enjoy podcasting way more than streaming. Like I've tried to get into the
yeah,
streaming thing, but I enjoy it maybe every once in a while, right? But
right.
this is what I'm more comfortable with. But it's streaming. It's like that's how tough is that? Because just from what I see, right? I work at home right now. I've been working at home for almost 2 years, but I have to constantly talk with people pretty much all day for what I do with my job. And then I can't imagine like being done with that, eat dinner, do whatever, then come back and try to stream and just be sort of like on, right? For people,
Yeah,
like be entertaining. That's
uh,
gotta be exhausting.
sure. First of all, I'm a psycho, so
What? Say that again?
know, like
Oh, yeah.
I, I find I love my day job and I think it's really cool. I find that content creation way more fulfilling, but like I can't fund my content creation if it wasn't for my day job. But one thing is that it comes with a little bit of caveats, and I think that I'm a different scenario compared to other people. For one, I work from home, so it's really easy for me to just, the last hour of work, sort of try to get ready for stream, things like that. So it saves a lot of time
Yeah.
cutting out the commute. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Also, too, I think that uh, I do give this tip to other cosplayers. Like, if you can try to pay people to do certain stuff, like editing, and just try to save time, that's always helpful. A lot of people are just like, oh, well, how can I do all this stuff? And it's just like, oh, the answer is that sometimes I should do throw money at the problem. Like, I can't have a YouTube channel and stream at the same time because it's just like, okay, well, where am I going to find the time for editing? So people are always surprised how I have like really pretty regular uploads on my YouTube, and it's just like, oh, the answer's editors. And also, like, I don't stream full time. Also, I stream like 4 to 5 hours a night. I mean, that's a
It's
lot.
still a lot,
It's
yeah.
still a lot. But full time streamers, they stream way more than that. They stream
Yeah.
like 8 hours a day, every day, and have like usually once a week break. I only try to stream 5 times a week. But yeah, I mean, it still is a lot. Like when I'm working on a cosplay, sometimes I do cut stream. So I just do what I can, really. But I find that to me, stream is just so. I know people have sort of this persona of like turning on to entertain, but to me, it's more of like, oh, a place where I hang out. So that's kind of, to me, it's just like, oh, me being done work and then being like hang out at a bar is sort of like
Yeah.
that's my stream for me, because like I'm a pretty introverted person anyway, so like yeah, that's kind of where I hang out with my friends. Like, it's so corny to say, but like to me that's how I keep saying, like, that's why I'm so motivated to stream, is because like that's where I get my social interaction like in a day, especially in Canada where everything's locked down and I can't
Oh,
just
yeah.
like travel
Yeah.
to see my IRL friends. So that's why I look forward to playing on stream, because I would probably go insane because I don't really have anyone to talk to outside.
Yeah,
Right.
what you're
So long.
describing, yeah, what you're describing is exactly how I feel about podcasting. Just the one-on-one conversation is talking about whatever the hell pops up, you know. It's exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that it's pretty good too, because like that's how pretty much I get motivated. Like, to me, it doesn't seem like, oh, I have to stream. Like if I don't stream, then like my momentum will get lost and like my viewership will go down. It's more like I don't even think about that. It's like I want to stream because if I don't, then I'll go crazy because there's no one else to talk to.
Yeah, no, I know the
Yeah.
feeling. I know the feeling.
So that's kind of what I do and how I can do it all, because it's sort of part of like my lifestyle anyway. So
Nice, nice. That's awesome. No, I like that. I like that thought. So it's pretty similar to then how I feel about podcasting. It makes sense. It's good. Just a
yeah,
different medium.
exactly. To me, it's just like if you don't look at it as a grind, then it's always going to be something you want to do, and then you do it all the time, and it feels great. Yeah, that's how I feel about streaming and content creation. It's just that
Awesome,
I'm very, very motivated to do it like intrinsically, so it's not like I feel like it's work, basically.
awesome, awesome. Would you ever want to go full time with it?
It depends on my situation. I think that since I have a lot of help, like for example editing and stuff, like I can't really afford to right now, but I mean it'd be so cool. I think that's like what everyone tries to attain as a content creator. Like, it'd be so cool to do it full time. So if the opportunity presents to me, that'd be awesome, but I'm like in no rush, and if it never happens, then I'm fine too, because it's just like, oh, the work I've done, like I can be really proud of it, to be like, yeah, I did that in one point in my life. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's how I feel.
Awesome. So I've got a cosplay question for you.
Sure.
With the D&D set coming up, Are we gonna see a Tiamat cosplay?
Oh, I don't know. What's Tiamat? Oh God, I'm a magic zoomer. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no. That's okay. Tiamat was the one card that was spoiled. It was the five-headed
Oh,
dragon.
the dragon, the dragon. Maybe not that one. I don't really like to do like creature cosplays. I like to do like more humanoid or like human. I'm waiting for the planeswalkers. I kind of have this plan too. So what happens in Magic Twitch is that the last couple months of a set, or like maybe the last month of a set, viewership goes down because like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are just like oh so tired of
Yep.
watching the next stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that this was perfect. This is what I learned from Strixhaven is that like that's the opportune time to work on cosplay, because it's just
Yeah.
like who cares about streaming? Like no one's gonna want to show up anyway. So I can't wait. Like as soon as they release Planeswalker or like an awesome character, I'm going to use that time to work on a new cosplay. So maybe not Tiamat, but
Oh
definitely
man.
something for the new set. Like I want to do that. I want to start doing that. Have a cosplay for each sort of set. I think that sort of healthy for me instead of just
Yeah.
kind of like twiddling my thumbs, like pretending I'm not like last month of the set trying to stream it. So I can't wait.
No, yeah, I'll be really curious as to who the planeswalkers are going to be because this is the first time Wizards has ever done something like this where they put D&D into Magic and all that. Be-
I know. I can't wait. So much better than the boring core sets. So I
I
hope
I
they do
kind of I
more.
kind of like corsets though. It's and I think it's just because I have such a fondness of them. Because just back when I was a kid, it was usually like the easiest sets to play back when I was younger and all that.
Sure, sure. So you're more of like the mechanic, like
Yeah.
you like the mechanics. To me, I love sets because of like the just the feel and like the lore.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Strixhaven was super awesome. So the D&D that's gonna be super awesome.
Oh, I
Like I
can't
really
wait.
like the Eldraine when it comes to like the
Oh, I love
story
the flavor.
building and the
Yeah.
art and
Oh
stuff like
man.
that. So to me, like I don't find that's the same case with the core set. So like I'm happy to see them gone, but I understand like the mechanically the core sets have always been good, especially for limited. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I like it because it's usually just a nice reprieve of it's a little bit more simple. Like
right.
it's back to more simpler times. And I do like Strixhaven. I find it funny that now that Strixhaven's out, I love it. Right? It's I can remember when Pixie and we did an episode of Magic for Normies when Strixhaven. We were just talking about the Strixhaven schools and all, and like we shit all over it. Like we were just like not excited about it. Like oh god, this seems so corny. The schools all seem like
Yeah,
like
it's
high
like
school clit,
cringe. Yeah.
like really cringe. But as it kept coming out more and more, I'm like, oh shit, I'm loving this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still find, the houses cringe and like even the sets cringe, but then it's kind of like this sort of feel where it's just like, oh, well, when I was in high school, I was kind of cringe. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like this, sort of, that's why I like it so much, like accepting like the corniness and
Oh
the
yeah, oh yeah.
it's just like oh my gosh, like the Orzhov one, Silver
Silver
Quill,
Quill.
like
Oh, I love it.
it's so funny.
And Prismari
I,
too.
yeah, I don't know if you saw those YouTube sort of or like those the promotional
Oh, the what
that
the
they
Command
had.
Zone did.
Yeah, with like
Yeah, they
they
were
were
freaking
doing okay,
awesome.
so when I watched that, I was like, oh, this is so awesome, but it was so cringe.
Yeah, it was.
I
It
was like
was.
really cringe. So like
It's
but
awesome because it's like I know
I
those
respect
people.
them so much. But it's just like the way that they delivered it, it's just like oh, it's just so the idea of like oh having this sort of like tribalism, it's so childish, and it's just to see like grown adults being like yeah like I'm in Silver Quill. Like oh my god, it's just like that's what I loved it because it's just like, oh, that's a point of Magic. It's supposed to be like, oh, you could be any age, and it makes you feel really young, and that's why I really
Yeah.
like Silver Quill, and I can't wait. Like the D&D thing's gonna be the same. Like
Oh my god, I'm so
everyone,
excited.
like D&D people, like from the outside, like normies always see us D&D players as being like, oh god, like the nerds, So it's just
Oh
like
man,
I'm
yeah.
super excited to see. Like I want things to be corny and things like that, and I hope that they go in that direction because it's just like, oh man, we're not getting younger anytime soon.
Oh, I know. The
So,
what's funny about like just the D&D set. So like my D&D group that I have right now, I've got I've got a few Magic players in there, but I've got a few like just hardcore D&D players that do not like Magic at all, right? That they
yeah.
feel like Magic is the worst thing, and they're like so mad that Wizards is making a D&D Magic set, and I'm like, but they had no problem with them bringing Magic to D&D, right?
Yeah,
Like the Ravnica and Theros books, they had no problem with that.
right.
But now it's like, oh, it's ruining D&D. It's like, no, it's fucking awesome. It should have happened years
Yeah.
ago.
I mean, the history of Magic is that they wanted sort of like a card version of like what D&D
Yeah,
was. Like
yeah,
that.
it was. From what I remember, the story was they wanted to make a card game to play right before your D&D session.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm just like, oh man, why hasn't this happened before? And even there's just so many like D&D flavors, like, oh, I'm
yeah.
playing my elves deck and stuff, like a tribal deck, or like, and things like that, or like magic and counterspell. So the fact that D&D players are mad is just sort of funny. It's just like nerd on nerd warfare. That's
Right?
what I like to say it.
Oh,
It's
it
like, no,
is.
I love this stuff. I love like all this corny sort of like nerd culture. It's just like, and
Oh
I
yeah.
love seeing people like argue about it. It's just like, oh, you're literally just you're playing the stereotype, and I
Oh
love
yeah. Oh
seeing.
yeah. I got to show you something. So, whoop, wrong camera. So, if you look over in my bookshelf there's all my D&D stuff right there.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, no, I can't wait. Oh, they need to
Oh,
release it. It'll be soon, right? Because the set releases sometime in
in July.
July.
Yeah, I
So
think
we're,
early
we're,
July.
we're gonna have spoilers like maybe mid-June or something like that.
I
That's
hope
pretty
so.
dope.
Oh, I can't wait.
So, oh man, it's that fast, eh? Like I feel like
Right?
Strixhaven has just barely
It
come. Like,
does. And then I know Pixie, she is like so excited about the two Innistrad sets. Like she's going crazy
oh, of
about it.
course, she loves the vampires
Yeah,
and like the
Soren.
Soren, and oh man, I can't wait for that
Oh,
too.
me too.
Like
I love
when
Innistrad.
it's like a vampire wedding. Oh man, like that'll be so cool for like magic cosplay too. Like everyone's just gonna be vampires. It'll be awesome. So, and I
Vampires and
love the
werewolves.
fact that it's just like, oh, it's like kind of like everyone says it's gonna be like the Twilight set. Like that's the stuff I love. It's just like to like it reminds you sort of that cringy stuff that you were into
Oh
when
yeah.
you were a kid. So
Yeah,
like
it's great.
I can't wait.
It's great.
See, this is why it's just like, oh man, people like I see, online Twitter and stuff like that, and people are so mad about the stuff, and it's just like, it's hard for me to not like Magic, even if it wasn't sponsored or like streaming the game. It's hard because like they're just doing stuff that I like product wise. So
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. So I know you've got to get going here soon, but
yeah, no worries.
I've got some questions that I want to ask.
Sure.
Just some random questions here that I've started doing with the podcast. And it's just to sort of try to get to know you better a little bit more.
Okay, let's see.
All right, first one. What's the scariest animal?
The scariest animal. Oh man, this is so hard. I love animals. Like every animal is so cool. Like I
And
love snakes and stuff like
it could
that.
be
Like
something in the sea,
tarantulas.
insects, anything.
It's so hard. Like I don't find any animals scary. I
Or
think humans are more scary than animals. So I'd say
yeah,
humans. Humans are animals, right?
yeah. No, you're not wrong. Okay. Okay, so humans. All right, next one. Best sandwich.
Best sandwich. Oh no! I'm so bad at this game. I love food. I can't. I just had a breakfast sandwich, like a good old breakfast sandwich with like a biscuit,
Ooh.
bread with like the cheese, like fresh first thing in the morning with the hot eggs.
Ooh,
That's
that
great.
does sound
I
good.
had one of those this
That
morning,
sounds
so
good.
it's special.
Okay. All right. What's your least favorite smell?
My least favorite smell, I think dog poop. I don't know. I do have a dog at home. It's just like, oh man. You just never, as a pet owner, you just never get used to your pet smells, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I know
Yeah.
that's why my kitty litter boxes are in the garage and not
Yeah,
not in
exactly.
the
Like it's
house.
just like, oh man, you should be used to it. But every time, I
Nope.
smell something, I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
it's a cat.
Yeah. Even if you get like the best litter that's supposed to cover up all the smells, you're like, nope, I smell it.
Yeah, it's so bad.
All right. On the flip side, what's your favorite smell?
My favorite smell, I think cotton candy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's just it brings up a lot of like memories as a kid, going to the fair and like yeah. I mean, not to be personal, but it's like a sibling as a single parent, and like one
Yeah.
of the greatest things that she did was just like on a Sunday in the summer, she would take us to the city fair, and like we'd always get cotton candy, and it's just like to this day, like I still eat cotton candy, even though I know, like, as you age, your body like is so repulsed by that stuff. But
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
I'm so repulsed, I'm like still eating cotton candy because it's just like it reminds me of my childhood so much.
Nice. Nice. That's a good one. I like it. Um. Next, so you get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
God, it's so hard.
I
Is there
know.
anything? Is there anything but like a record that's just completely silent that someone just like did as a joke? Because it's funny. I gotten this prompt before. It's just like, man, the first few times it's awesome, and then I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like the more and more you listen to it, you'll just hate it. So if
Well,
there's a silent album out there, that'd be great. That's the one I would listen to.
I would choose something like maybe a classical piece that's like 1 to 2 hours long or something. That way, it's not driving you completely crazy, right?
Well, maybe because then, like, the more and more you listen to it, the more and more like you know certain parts of the song, and you're just like, oh, piano or something like that.
But it's better than just like a 2 or 3 minute song, though.
That's true. That's true. Of like some sort of like Katy Perry
Yeah,
or
right.
pop song
Can you
like that.
imagine hearing "Shake It Off" over and over and over and over again? Actually,
Oh my
I'd fucking love
gosh.
it for like the first day or two.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. It's so funny because it's just like, oh, I'm having this really weird nostalgia trip like at this moment where I'm always YouTubing like 90s, 80s videos, and it's just like, man, that's so funny because back then I wanted to escape Britney Spears so much. I was just like, oh, I'm so tired of this person, this and that. But
Yeah.
now I keep listening to Britney Spears. It's all I listen to now.
Oh my
It's
god,
just
that's
funny.
crazy. I've done
Yeah.
similar, not exactly Britney Spears, but other groups like I hated growing up or whatever. Now I'm just
Yeah, and
like,
you're just, and then it's just like, oh, now you get older, you're just like, oh God, why did I hate this? Like, this is so awesome. Like, I wish Britney Spears was like at her prime right now, but I remember as a kid just being so annoyed
yeah.
by her, like being an edgy teenager, like listening to like all the rock bands and stuff, and
Well,
it's like,
and what makes me like her even more now as an adult is like knowing what she had to go through.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's the thing. I'm so fascinated by her because it's just like the world is so ingrained in social media right now.
Oh yeah.
Just like I'm so fascinated because it's just like I don't even know like how she is alive. Like to me,
Right?
I feel like if I was in her shoes, I'd
Oh
have
man.
some sort of mental breakdown.
Well, and
Just like
she
check
had
out.
she did, you
Yeah,
know.
I know. And for that stuff to be publicized and like also the way
And she was
the
so
media,
demonized too.
yeah, the media treated her, and also like I remember as a kid even like me just saying, I just remember saying horrible stuff to like my friends being like, oh my god, Britney Spears is so crazy, like she did this and
Oh
that.
yeah.
It's just like because there was no social media back then for people to discuss and be like sort
Hmm.
of have this level head of like having opinions.
Yep.
So and then now too, it's just like, oh, when celebrities, when something happens to them, they can like speak up instead of like having a certain narrative. So I'm just so fascinated by like looking at stuff in the past. I don't know. There's just so much time to just freaking waste your time on this
Oh, I
stuff
know.
like
I
that.
know. It's hell.
Like, oh, Britney Spears and like, analyzing media from 10 years ago versus
Right.
now. That's where I'm
Right.
at. So,
Oh man. What's one thing you own that you should really throw out?
one thing that, oh my gosh, probably my old cosplays. Like, I should just not, they don't even fit me anymore. Like, I have so many pictures of them. Like, they're just so worn that, like, I can't even sell them. But it's just like, damn it,
Oh
I just
man.
can't let it go. I don't even look at them anymore.
Oh.
But I should just let them go. They're in boxes, but it's just like,
So
I can't just check them out.
what'll it take you to chuck them out?
I don't know. Probably like moving to a different country or something like
Oh.
that. Like being forced to. 'Cause it's just like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm not gonna pay to like ship essentially trash
Yeah.
to.
No, but it's also nostalgia too.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, but that's what I was saying. It's just like I don't even look at it. It's just like,
But it's
is
there.
it really
Yeah.
nostalgia? Like it's just the thought of it now, like of just having it. But I should really throw them down. I mean, I live in Vancouver, so like apartment space isn't very big, so it's just taking up some space. Maybe I
Oh,
should do
okay.
that this weekend.
Do it. Do it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna poke at you like when this episode airs and when
yeah.
people hear this, like, did you do it yet?
Oh my gosh, such a magic thing to do, right? Like a magic player thing to do. Like how many people have like cards that they don't even look at that they should probably just like let go and being like,
Oh,
no, like it'll flip like 10 years or 5 years from now. It'll be so much more expensive. Like I'll be able to sell this and just like, no,
I used
you need
to
to throw it out.
yeah, I used to be that way. Like I used to be such a hoarder with magic cards, but living in the US and having shitty healthcare and all that stuff, it's emergencies like that sort of forced my hand. So
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's good for everybody then. But it's just so funny that it's just like, oh,
no,
that
I know what you mean
Magic
though.
Player have this like quarter aspect to them, even if it's just not just Magic Players.
Right. No, I know what you mean. It's yeah, I've got a play set of Gaia's cradles that I bought when they were like $100 each, $120 each, and all that, and now they're so expensive now. And it's like I know I could easily sell them, but I'm just like, but what if it goes up higher? Or
That's costly stuff. Just like, oh, I need it.
yeah.
And then it's just like, no, you'll never need it. You don't fit in the bag. Like, well, what if? It's so funny.
All right. A few more questions here. What's something people seem to misunderstand about you?
Think that I mean, I think a lot. I don't know. I think that people these are just like really negative things too. I find sometimes like, oh, when people think like, oh, I just do a lot of cosplay, and then they'll come to my stream, and like I've had people being like, oh, you're like not that bad at this game. I'm just like just like some results before. I mean, not as crazy as some people, but like I had something to
Yeah.
be proud of for the short time I've been playing this game.
Yeah, no, for
Or
sure.
just like just being on my stream, like sometimes like my humor and stuff like that, like people don't get it. I like to have like sometimes I have this character of just being like, oh, like the stupid girl that just like doesn't know anything as a joke, and then some people
Yeah.
like feel like think that I'm actually like that.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
like I just keep memeing and like trolling a lot. I feel like I do that on my Twitter a lot too. Like I'll poke fun or just like even like, oh, have that, the generic like e-girl selfie and like so
Yeah.
just having this like character of, of just like what I put up online. And I think that people sometimes misunderstand me for taking it like they think that's who I really am. But I mean, I feel like everyone sort of plays characters online, so
Yeah. No,
like
I know
no
what you
to
mean.
really themselves.
No, I mean, a real good example of that is someone that we both know, Efren from Cardsphere, friggin'
Yeah.
biggest troll ever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
He's the
funny.
worst,
So
literal
funny.
worst. Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Maybe he's funny. No, I
No,
love Efren. I love
gosh.
Efren. I love.
It's just so funny. I mean, it's funny too because it's just like sometimes when the magic discourse happens, we'll have a conversation. I'm just like, oh, like, dang, like I just enjoy the conversations we have, but like he
Yeah.
never like outwardly expresses that on social media. So
No. No. I
just
know exactly what you mean. Like whenever there's some new discourse or whatever, it's just Jesus fuck, man. Come on.
yeah, but like yeah, no, he's a great guy.
Oh yeah. All right. Last couple questions here. What would you pick for your last meal?
My last meal,
You
sushi.
could.
I love
Ooh.
Japanese.
What kind of sushi?
So like just anything really. Like right now I'm having like a really great like salmon.
Ooh.
I'm like a really plain eater. People always make fun of me because like when I get a burger, I call it cardboard burgers. Like I just want basically meat, bread, cheese. Like
Not even like ketchup or anything or mustard?
I don't really like tomatoes,
Mm.
ketchup. You can have like a little mustard, but I'm very like a plain person. It's just so funny. I like seasoned meat, so I'm not totally like a bland,
Yeah.
but
No,
you know,
I know
like
what you mean. No,
but I'm very plain. So right now I'm just like, oh, salmon, sushi. So literally just rice, the seaweed, and salmon. And people are like, "What? Your last meal?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
hey, I mean, if that's what you're into, that's fine. Um, all right. If you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh no, like, gosh, yeah. This prompt is just really like asking you like, oh, who do you think is the coolest people in the world? I don't know.
It doesn't have to be coolest people. It could be, family members or just I don't know
I'm
anybody.
lucky enough to like do that every day, like my dog, my partner. I guess I can't count as the third person, right? I think I'm pretty awesome. So
Maybe a clone of Jana. You know.
wouldn't that be interesting though to have like a dinner with yourself, but like you don't have shared thoughts, like to find out more about yourself or like how you would react seeing yourself as a clone. I've always thought that would
But
be interesting.
it would be interesting. But it's like, what about after dinner? Like, what happens after that? Does the clone just
Exactly.
disappear or?
No matter like oh maybe if you have 24 hours with your clone, like that'd be kind of a cool
It would
experience.
be
Like
cool, but
what would
also kind
be
of sad at the same time.
yeah, yeah, it's annoying. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
I've always thought that like, how would that turn out? So
I'd probably go
yeah,
tell my clone, go work for me today or something, please. I need the day
yeah.
off.
Well, because this prompt is interesting because
Yeah,
it shows you, it tells you about the other person in a way, like how they view themselves.
yeah.
They'll be like, oh, like I find that really annoying. It's just like, oh, well, do you have like some insecurity?
Oh,
Kinds of prompts.
all right. And our last one,
Sure.
what motivates you to get up in the morning?
Just being thirsty.
What kind of thirsty?
To
Just
get up
water?
now. Yeah, just water. Like, nah, I really, I just, I just really love living. I don't know. I'm having so much fun. Like, I feel that, like, uh, just COVID really taught me a lot about myself. I'm not sure if it's the same with other people, but like last year was really, really rough, but in a good way. Like being isolated made me learn a lot about myself. I feel like I've grown a lot since then and I'm just so excited now to be like, oh, figuring out my problems from last year and just being really excited to just move forward with what I'm passionate about, where it's cosplay or streaming. So yeah, that's kind of why what I'm motivated, progressing myself as a person, like developing my relationships with my friends and family.
That's awesome.
But I'm always thirsty or hungry, so I'm doing so much. Sometimes I forget to eat, so it all just kind of packs up and just saves in the morning, and then I wake up like, oh shoot, I need to drink, pee, and eat. So that's what motivates me to get up. Just being just so like a sim and having all my levels down. So
That's great. That's great. That's one of the more honest answers
yeah,
that I've gotten. That's great. I love it. It's like,
awesome.
it's like I'm thirsty and I gotta pee. And that's why I gotta.
Exactly. That's why I gotta get up in the morning. And I feel a little hot.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. Well, we do need to wrap things up here.
Awesome.
I would love to have you on again sometime because
Yeah, no worries.
it's I feel like we could just keep going, but I know you got stuff you got to do.
Mhm.
But I just want to thank you again for coming on. Is there? So by the time this episode comes out, hold on, let me double check my calendar. Hold on. All right, so this episode should come out June 4th.
Sure.
So by the time that comes out, is there anything you want to tease for anything maybe coming up after that, or anything
Oh
you want to
man,
plug?
I don't even know what's happening in the next week. So I just gotta say thank you so much, Zuby, for having me on. I
Oh,
really
you're
enjoyed
welcome.
this talk. If people want to find me, I'm always streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jana Amari. I stream at around 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. PST. Kind of hard for East Coast folks. So I do have a YouTube channel on my box. That's just youtube.com/Jana Amari. And then I'm on Twitter, Jana Chan, if people want to see my cosplay. So I'm sort of everywhere, depending on how you want to find me.
Awesome.
So, but I don't know what's coming up. I'm always working on all this stuff. So maybe I'll say nothing, and that'll motivate people to come by to see what I have going on.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on and just chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All
Have a
right.
good
You
night.
too.
Thank you guys. Bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit shorter of an episode, but I really, really enjoyed Jana coming on. I want to have her on again because that was definitely an episode I could have kept going. I felt like we could have talked for way longer, like even past 2 hours. So she just seemed like a really down-to-earth, chill person and really easy to talk to. Thank you, Jana, for coming on. Really do appreciate it. Had a great time with you on. And yeah, and I hope you listeners and viewers out there, you did watch it and listen, or I hope you did enjoy it. I mean, not that you watched it. If you're at this part watching and listening, then yeah, you obviously listened to the whole thing. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you again, Jana, for coming on. And thank you, viewers and listeners, for watching and listening. I do appreciate every single one of you and hope you all have a great night. All right.